her fiance Jim picked me up and took me out on the Autobahn, and when we went pretty fast, probably about 160 kilometers per hour, and we went to their town where they live called Kaiserslautern, and there are mostly BMWs, Mercedes, Volkswagens, you know, all the German-made cars out on the road. We went to take their little dog Guido to his veterinary appointment, but I kept falling asleep in the waiting room from the jet lag. Afterwards, we went to an old castle and ended up getting lost on a horseback riding trail in the Mercedes. So that was probably not a place we should have been. But anyway, that night we went downtown to Kaiserslautern, and Kaiserslautern is where the World Cup was held a couple years ago. So we went to a German restaurant where I had some good schnitzel and croquettes, and along with some banana-flavored Heineken, and I guess that's pretty popular there in Germany. The next day, Bree took me to the train station where there was nobody there to validate my train pass, so I got a little excited that I might not be able to get on the train, but I came to find out that they don't even check your ticket till you are on the train. So I got on the train and hoped for the best, because you don't really want to get thrown off at 200 miles an hour. It'd just be a bad scene, I think. So the ticket lady finally came, and I gave her my reservation slip rather than my train pass. So she just stamped it and moved on, and I ended up with an extra day on my train pass, which I used a little later. I didn't feel too bad about using it either, because they ended up being late and everybody got refunds for their tickets, so you know, it was all good. So I got to Paris and checked my luggage into storage so I could walk over to Sacré-Cœur at the top of the hill. Along the way, I was asked to donate to pretty much any kind of cause you can imagine. Anything from mute people wanting me to sign a pledge form, to Serbian ladies wanting me to read an English note saying that help was needed at home, to the African bracelet makers who ended up roping me in and charging me €15. But anyway, I eventually made it to Sacré-Cœur, which was amazing, and the view up there that overlooks Paris was a great way to get introduced to the city, to get the layout of everything. I went back to the train station to take the Paris subway to where I was staying at the Oops Hostel, and I couldn't find it at first, so I thought to myself, maybe they call it the Oops Hostel because you think, oops, I just made reservations at a place that doesn't exist. But I eventually found it, so that was good. It was a very nice place. So that afternoon I took the metro, or the subway, to Notre Dame, which was quite amazing in itself. I didn't see any hunchbacks except for me with the backpack. It seemed like on every street corner or subway car there was somebody playing music, which was pretty nice. On one street corner there was a headless accordion player, so that's not something you see every day. It was a pretty nice day, that first day I was in Paris. So I took the subway to the Arc de Triomphe, which was built for Napoleon, and eventually the day started to get dark, so I went to the Eiffel Tower for some sunset and nighttime pictures. The views were pretty amazing, but so were the lines to get to the top. But it was worth it though. After all that, I went back to my hostel where I met my 3 roommates for the next couple of nights. I was glad to know a little Spanish because I was staying with 2 Argentinian rugby players and another Brazilian hip-hop dancer, so everybody knew a little Spanish, and so we could talk a little bit, so that was good. So that was the end of my first day in Paris. So the next day I got up early to go to the Louvre. It's a big, huge museum, and there's some pretty amazing stuff in there. I saw some of Michelangelo's work and also the Mona Lisa. This museum was so huge that you could easily spend a day in each of the 3 sections. I also made time to go through the Egyptian portion of it, which was pretty cool because it had a real mummy in it, and so that was really neat to see. After the quick visit to the Louvre, I went over to the Opera House for some photos, and right after that I met up with a couch surfing friend of mine named Elsa. She was very nice, and she told me all kinds of facts I didn't know about Paris. We went for a walk over to Sainte-Chapelle, where there's some amazing stained glass windows. Each of these windows tell a story about a book in the Bible, so that was really neat. We had to go through metal detectors to get into Sainte-Chapelle because it shares the same entrance as the courthouse, or a justice center, or some type of building like that. So that was the first time I've had to be frisked to go to church, so that was a new experience. So the next day, after my big weekend in Paris, I got up before the sun and went to the train station to be on my way to Italy. I almost got stuck in the subway gate, though, with all my luggage because it wasn't working, so I had to climb over the gate. It wasn't very funny at the time, but now that I look back at it, yeah, it was kind of funny. So I got on the train and went over the French-Italian Alps, which the clear blue skies as I crossed into Italy. It was pretty nice. I went down the mountains